So once again, I introduce and bring to you Eyebyorets, the AI-powered glass that lets blind people see. So with this device, as the theme of the exhibition says, leaving no one behind, we surely are not leaving no blind person behind because now they're going to read books, they'll go to school, they'll go to shopping malls, anything that you have been doing with your eyes, this device lets them do just that.
I am Douglas Onenchan, an artificial intelligence and machine learning engineer. I'm the maker of Uganda's very fast helicopter, the Kasubo X helicopter, and I'm also the maker of the Eyebyorets, a thing we shall talk about today. And I'm also the mind behind the creation of the Sidonia MK commuter, a new car that is going to be around the roads of Kampala very soon.
Mr. Douglas, what is the inspiration behind Eyebyorets?
At home, I have an elder brother who is partially blind. So growing up, watching him struggle to find objects around him or actually find his way around things was by itself an inspiration enough. And myself, I've also loved to involve myself in leadership. And I've been many times into leadership positions, including when I was head prefect at Nadia SS Boyogirire, where we founded the Mother Nadia Outreach Foundation. And this was just a student-led organization that was purely meant to go reach out to the society around the school, do some small charity activities, reach out to homes of disabled people, homes of the elderly. And one amazing outreach was our first one, where we happened to go to St. Maria Goretti, home of the disabled in Chiwanga, that was around Boyogirire. And there I met a girl who, Annette, a girl called Annette, and she didn't have her legs, right? She didn't have any working limbs. The arms were crippled, the legs were crippled. But God blessed her with some small amount of energy on her right leg, and she uses that leg to write. And trust me, our handwriting, amazing piece of I should call it leg writing, amazing leg writing. So nice. And when I looked at her, had some small talk with her, trust me, that put a big hole in my heart, called me to responsibility, called me to act. But at the time, I did not have so much tool in my hand. So all that we could do was to design a simple wheelchair for her. But I carried that inspiration on, that now whenever I get a tool, whenever I'm in a position enough for me to do something to help any of such people, I will be able to do that. And when I got my hands onto artificial intelligence, I knew that was the tool I needed. And I had to do something for such people. And calling back on those inspirations, I knew that since my brother is partially blind and the other lady can't write properly, so my answer to the task was design a visual aid tool to start with the brother, but still also incorporate the writing capability, reading capability into the same device so that all of them can use it as a cross-platform device for many groups of PWDs, and that's where Eyebyorets comes in.
Could you explain to us how the Eyebyoret works?
Yes, so Eyebyorets, like I already said, is a simple device. It's a glass embedded device that you simply wear it like your normal sunglasses, and you simply, if you want to whatever task you want to do, you simply tell it. For example, I am here seated in this room. Let's say I want to get out of this room. I can simply tell the device, hey, I want to get out, or get me out of this room. And by itself, it will look around, find the door, and will tell me where exactly the door is, the position, how many steps I need to take to get to the door. And as we get to go, it actually guides me, hey, take left, do 2 steps forward, there's this table in front of you, to avoid it, take 2 steps to the left. Let's say I want to read a book, right? I simply ask it, hey, read this for me, or can you read this book for me? And it will ask me, put the book, or hold the book in your hand so I can see. I simply hold up the book, and the device will read it out for me. If I don't have the book in my hand, I can simply tell it, hey, can you read for me this book from the internet? And the device will jump on the internet. That's if I was connected to internet. It'll jump on the internet, pick that book in PDF and read it out to me. Now, all the functions that we've talked about, that the device can recognize my voice, understand my voice, all that you don't need internet. It's purely offline. You only need internet when you have to access services that are hosted online. For example, finding a book that's online. That's when you need the internet. You want to recognize what's around you, you can simply pick up whatever it is in your hand and say, hey, what is this? It'll tell you what that is. If you don't have the object in your hand, it will tell you a couple of near objects near, closest to you, will tell them to you. That's purely independence brought back to the blind people. That's simply saying, we can simply put it as going to a supermarket or going to a mall and finding a blind people doing shopping without asking for your assistance in any way. That's Eyebyorets.
What is the goal of this project?
Yes, the goal is the biggest is to restore full independence and freedom to the blind people. The future goal for the dream for this device is to reach a point where instead of using audio visuals, because right now the device will see everything for you and tell it to you via audio, an audio earpiece plugged into your ear. The goal is to have it in the future where we have this device communicating direct to your visual cortex. Because here's the problem, that blindness only affects this outer eye, but your visual cortex that's responsible for processing the signals that your eyes send remains active. So if we could in the future find a way of connecting straight to the visual cortex without having major surgeries done to you, because we know that we know already that your brain transmits waves outside, and we can actually pick those waves and decode them and have a human readable version of that. And you already know from physics, my belief is from physics that a good radiator is a good absorber. So if something radiates, it actually can absorb. So that's the theory we're working on to try and link the device straight to the brain.
Do you think it is beneficial for Africa to embrace technology?
Absolutely. I am an advocate for productive knowledge creation, where we see that Africa itself is purely becoming a dormant consumer, an inactive consumer, simply meaning that Africa is not involved in the productive process or in the production process. But we are blessed that right now, where we have the age of information, everyone can have access to information. And the fact that we already know that Africans are right now the most creative people on this planet, it's it's an auspicious time for Africa to embrace technology. Because technology, it's needless to say that the future belongs in technology. So it's high time Africa joins in the race and we're good. We missed the first industrial revolution, we missed the second, we missed the third. This is the fourth. We can't afford to miss participating in that.
What challenges does the technology industry face, and what steps should be taken to address them?
Yes, number one, I'll talk from the African perspective. If you talk about limitations to adoption or adaptation of technology, the number one should be policies. Policies are supposed to provide frameworks for us, the innovators, to work with our societies. These policies include things like taxation and promotions of technology. Number one, you look at nations like Rwanda, you look at nations like Ghana. Ghana, by the way, created the small-scale business, the SME policy, way back in the 1984. That's when Ghana made their own, and Ghana became Africa's number one country to do such. And every African nation has to come on board and create these policies that foster innovation in the technology. Number one, these policies are supposed to provide not only a safe working environment for technological innovation, but also provide for funding that will support these innovations. Because number one, technology is expensive. If you do not have a policy framework that provides for sustainability of such innovations, then you know that all the innovations that will come will simply die out without reaching the market. Then the other is our education system. I am glad to see that Uganda has already started implementing a more practical oriented form of education, which is amazing, and big credit to the Ministry of Education and Madam, the First Lady. That's an incredible amount of work that you guys have done. It's amazing to make education practical. To me, that's a plus for the government, and I would encourage them to continue making it more practical, to keep innovating in the space of in the industry of education, so that the product of our education system does not only know but can apply the knowledge and can also participate in advancing the species of knowledge, because like I already said, Africa is becoming just a dominant consumer. That means that we're consuming from the basic utensils, where we import even cups from China, we import pens from Kenya, and everything we import from outside, right? But Africa, that simply means that we are not participating in the production of the knowledge that is used in production processes. But if we make our education system more practical, like we are trying to do right now, then I'm sure in the next few years, we shall be able to produce a generation of Ugandans or Africans who can actually confidently contribute towards productive energy knowledge creation.
In your own words, talk to the tech world.
No, I mean, the tech world is a crazy one, so you need to be crazy. I mean, take on the new challenges, never dream. If your dream doesn't scare you, you've got to dream big again. If your dream still doesn't scare you, you go back to bed, dream again, and come back to the scene. And whatever idea that you have, I already know that the power of vision, as long as you have something in mind, put work to it. Whenever you have an idea, as long as you haven't started working on it, it'll remain a dream. Have a dream, dream big, and start working on that dream.
Thank you very much.